Chapter 22. After the door to outer space closed, there was a moment of deathly silence in the library. It was broken by the sound of a tune playing very faintly in the background. George looked around to see who might be humming, but then he realized it was Cosmos, singing a little song to himself as he crunched the long strings of numbers that were flashing across the screen. "Ba ba 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 ba," tooted Cosmos. "Cosmos," said George, who wasn't feeling very happy about Eric's sudden departure. He certainly didn't feel like whistling a merry tune. "Tum-ti-ta-tum-tum," said Cosmos in reply. "Cosmos," repeated George. "Where has Eric gone? Tra-la-la-la," Cosmos went on cheerfully, rolling reams of endless numbers across the screen. "Cosmos," said George once more, this time with more urgency. "Stop singing. Where has Eric gone?" The computer stopped mid-hum. "He has gone to find a new planet," he said, sounding rather surprised. "I'm sorry you didn't like my music," he continued. "I was just singing while I worked." "Pom, pom, 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 pom," he started again. "Cosmos," yelled George. "Where is he?" "Well, that's hard to say," replied Cosmos. "How come you don't know?" said George, surprised. "I thought you knew everything." "Unfortunately not. I don't know what I have not been shown." "Do you mean Eric is lost?" "No, not lost. His travels uncover new places for me. I follow him, and I map the universe." "All right," said George, relieved to know Eric wasn't lost. "Fine. I suppose it must be something very special that he's gone to see, for him to rush off like that." "No, no," interrupted Cosmos. "Just another undiscovered part of the universe. All in a day's work." George felt a bit confused. If that was the case, why had Eric just shot off into outer space in such a great hurry? He thought that Eric was his friend, and that, unlike other adults, he would explain what he was up to and why. But he hadn't. He had just gone. For a split second, George wondered about grabbing a space suit, asking Cosmos to open the portal, and joining Eric. But then he remembered how furious Eric had been after he and Annie had gone into outer space without his permission. He realized sadly that he would just have to go home now. Maybe Eric wasn't really his friend at all, but just another grown-up who didn't think it mattered whether George understood stuff or not. He picked up his wet coat and school bag and made for the door. Cosmos was still humming his little melody in the background. George opened Eric's front door to leave. He was just about to step out into the street when he had a sudden flash of memory. There had been 2 reasons he had come to see Eric today, and he'd only managed to tell him about one of them, the science competition. In all the excitement, he'd completely forgotten to warn Eric about Dr. Reaper and his strange questions. The letter, George now remembered. It's Greeper. George had overheard him asking the bullies to deliver a note. That must be the letter Eric received, and Reaper asked if Eric had disappeared. George turned and rushed straight back into the house, leaving the door wide open behind him. In the library, Cosmos was still at work. On the desk in front of him, George spotted the letter that Eric had read with such joy. He'd read the whole thing, his hand shaking as he realized who had written it. "Dear Eric, I understand that your long-standing quest to find new planets to inhabit isn't yet over. I wanted to draw your attention to a very particular planet I happen to have found. It is roughly the size of the Earth and lies at about the same distance from its star as the Earth is from the Sun. As far as I know, there has never been such a strong candidate planet for humans to settle on. I am pretty sure it has an atmosphere like ours, an atmosphere we could breathe. I'm not in a position to verify this information, but I very much look forward to hearing what you think of it. Please see below for the coordinates of that planet, or rather, a way to reach it. Scientifically yours, G.R." George knew perfectly well who G.R. was. The handwriting was all too familiar to him. He recognized it from his school reports, which usually said things like, "George will amount to nothing unless he learns to pay attention in class and stop daydreaming." It was without doubt written by Dr. Reaper, and Greeper knows Cosmos exists. It must be a trap, George thought. "Cosmos," he said out loud, interrupting the computer, who was now humming "Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star." "You have to take me to Eric right now. Can you find him?" "I can try," replied Cosmos. A succession of images appeared on his screen. The first one looked like a starfish with long arms twisted into some sort of spiral. Above it was written, "Our galaxy, the Milky Way." "Our galaxy, the Milky Way, is made of approximately 200 billion stars," Cosmos started. "Our star, the sun, is only one of them."